know, what I've loved about MS&L, and that's why I've been with this agency for 9 years, which in agency life it's
like 63 years.
It's like 63, yes, exactly. Very old. Thanks, Amanda. But I think what it is about MS&L truly is that they really do give us the room, the elasticity to reinvent ourselves every day. So while there are titles, the hierarchy isn't necessarily a trajectory that goes one way. There's definitely horizontals and verticals, and I'm certainly an example of it. I started as a practice leader, both in healthcare and consumer, and then I started to move into the consumer realm, became creative director once I sort of felt like I wanted to take it to the next level. And now recently I've moved to New York from Toronto to do a North America role where I get to work with all of the agencies. So, in all of our offices. So that's exciting because it keeps it exciting for me and it allows me to push myself. And I really do believe that's unique within the agency paradigm, for sure.
Yeah, I think Krista got it. It's, you know, you think of your career ladder as going like this, and at least my experience at MS&L has been more like this, in a good way. I've been with MS&L for a while, just like Krista. I'm also old in dog years, so I'll be 6-7 years at the agency. I started off like Krista did on the traditional account side and launched our influencer marketing practice a few years ago, and then now I'm in a global role as a global account director, which is something that I sort of never thought that I would end up doing. But MS&L I think of almost as like a mini incubator for little PR agencies within it, where there's a strong emphasis on entrepreneurial. Start that over. There's a very strong emphasis on entrepreneurial spirit, and if you want to do something, the leadership here will absolutely give you the runway to do it as long as you're committed. So that's why I think a lot of us go in circles like this rather than just following a boring straight line.
Well, I think that we're always trying to come up with new ways to do things. That's what keeps it exciting. That's what gets me up in the morning. I think something maybe more relevant in the last couple of months has been something I did in the beauty space for Procter & Gamble. And traditionally, beauty is very interactive, very one-on-one, tends to be event-driven, very, very traditional in some respects. And so what we try to do is, for the client, reimagine the beauty world from a PR standpoint. And so we created a portal for industry influencers where all of the activity, all of the new product innovations, webinars, everything is housed in this one place. And by reimagining our approach, we were able to help beauty media get to that point too, where they actually engaged with it and are now really loving it and seeing the positive aspects of it even from a time standpoint. So it may not seem transformational in terms of creating a portal, but for this category, it truly has been transformational, and transformational for P&G Beauty's business too.
Well, I actually think that MS&L has done a great job as an agency of reimagining the whole public relations space. I think, you know, even 10 years ago, we and a lot of agencies were operating, you know, dialing for dollars, coverage by the pound, and we've really turned that model on its head and become sort of an influencer and community engagement shop more than anything, which I think is really driven from understanding consumers. And if we didn't have that expertise, and if we weren't able to think about PR in that new way, we wouldn't be able to do things like, you know, put Oral-B toothbrushes on the runway at Fashion Week, or turn Febreze air fresheners into home decor, which are, you know, both things that we've done in the last few years.
Great. I mean, automatically for me, it's reality TV, which I happen to love anything on television, and I'm a huge reality TV junkie because I'm fascinated by the fact that whether you like it or not, it's showing the power of the consumer as the co-creator. I mean, it's now setting the agenda for television. It's the masses. It's not necessarily producers and directors anymore. And I think that that's had a profound shift on television, but also pop culture in general and the way that we view ourselves. I also think that there's no boundaries anymore in pop culture, which is interesting. So it's almost like, what's the shock value as we try to reimagine ourselves? Because when an openly gay woman is the talk show host of the top variety show, Ellen DeGeneres, and also doing CoverGirl commercials, that's when you start to see we're in a really good place, but where could we possibly go from here? And I think that's what's really exciting.
And I just thought of the Snuggie. See, it's just not as good. The Snuggie, you know, it's taken a blanket and you turn it on its head and it becomes a whole new business. You think of Apple, you think of Starbucks, you think of, you know, Robert Downey Jr. But again, I think it goes back to thinking differently and reimagining where companies and brands and people can really go. And if you understand the people that you're going after, you can do that.